It is an absolute privilege to be with an individual who has walked the streets of Lagos and sold more than 30 million records. And it's also being sold globally as well. It's an honor to have you here. Really nice to see you today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this book that you've written, More Than 100 Truths You Need to Know About Wealth. It's so insightful, and the best way that I can describe it is like an onion. You have to peel back the layers. And thankfully, I've had the privilege of being in your workshop, Journey to Wealth. More information on that in the description. And it's really helped in understanding those key nuggets. But before we get into that, the back. You've written a bit of a biography here, talking about growing up in a modest 3x6 meter shop to having a transformative encounter with Christ, and then releasing the globally acclaimed gospel album, Joyful Noise. Could you speak on a bit of your story?
I am Faith Praiz. People call me Faith Praiz, and some people call me Faith Praiz. Born some couple of years ago. I'm a senior citizen, and I'm married to a beautiful woman. Have children and grandchildren, and I coordinate resource center that belongs to Congress WBM. That's a global faith-based organization. And I'm also the CEO of Mo Vibes Group and many more. And
I'm sure some people may be wondering, what gives you the authority to write a book on wealth?
So many has been written before now.
Yes.
I'm just like one of the apostles of Jesus Christ. You see that Mark wrote his own. Luke wrote his own.
Yeah.
And others testify.
Yes.
Paul, that was not physically with Jesus, wrote his own part. Apart from that, there are some personal revelation. As you rightly read at the back of the book, I grew up in a humble way. I was the firstborn from 14 children, and growing up was very tough. It's very. Remember in those days that to eat right would be only on Sunday. Time will not permit me to go into detail about that. But when I came to Christ, because Christ found me, and the first question I asked him is, can I be rich? And he answered me, yes, it's my desire for you to be wealthy. So that's how I started my journey with Christ. And before he asked me to go out into churches, I was teaching them the true meaning of worship and praise. That was my first book. More than 100 truths you need to know about praise and worship.
Okay.
And after releasing that book, going to different churches, teaching them what worship means. And so in order to demonstrate and then practically explain to them the role of songs in worship, so I released the first tape. And the first tape was called Orin Ilogo. And that's the beginning of the journey. I've sold well over 30 million records, and learning what that means. Here we are. We arrive in writing this kind of book from wealth of experience.
Yes, definitely a wealth of experience, because there's so much in the book that one simply can't just find something like this online.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's a revelation. And I'm wondering, you start with you start the book with why the book.
Yeah.
And most people, you would just jump into just the points on the book. As in, it's called More Than 100 Truths. You should just jump into the first truth.
Sure.
So why is it so necessary to include why the book?
I want to differentiate the book from other books.
Okay.
And I also want to, as I said, add my own wealth of experience and knowledge and encounter with God and share it with the people. And also I believe that this will be a tool that will deliver so many many youths, especially, from the spirit that is available.
What do you mean by the spirit that's available?
Yes. Some use the word spirit and some say mentality.
Okay.
Because the truth is this. Everybody cannot be wealthy.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Or not that everybody cannot be wealthy, but everybody will not be wealthy.
Why?
Because everybody cannot pay the price.
Okay. That's
God
sense.
promised us wealth in His word.
Yes.
He said, remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to make wealth, so that He might establish His covenant with your fathers. Now, He has given us the power. We are possessed with the power. So I can say we are wealthy. But for the manifestation of that wealth to come out, you have your own part to play. You have a role to play, and not everybody is willing to pay the price.
So in other words, does that mean poverty is a choice?
It's a choice.
Wow.
It's a choice. So if you are not making up your mind to pay the price, to follow the instruction that are in the book that the Lord gave to us, you may be poor. Another reason why people are poor is because they have believed in the lie that the world has given to us, that only through education that you can be wealthy. And trying to differentiate what we are saying or talking about from riches.
Okay.
And which one of the reasons why the book is written. The book is written for numbers of reasons, but let me say some. To open people's eyes to understand reality. And reality is that everybody is gifted. Everybody is talented. Everybody is supposed to have ideas. And everybody has capacity. Everybody has means and so many other things. But not realizing that will make you poor. Second reason is to change the mentality of people towards true wealth.
I'd like to go back a bit on that, to open one's eyes to see the reality, because I feel there's a lot to unpack here in terms of what you said. Now, you just mentioned how we all have gifts and talents, and there is a belief that some people are just naturally gifted while others have to, work to get to that person's level. Like, how do you know your gift, or how would you discover that?
What are people demanding from you? Oh, Temi, can you do this for me? Can you help me to do that? And you do it and people say, fantastic. This is good, but only you don't realize what you have.
Yes, it's true.
That's one sentence. The other thing I would say is, have you done SWOT analysis about yourself? Which will lead us to one of the things we'll be learning during the course of this book, that there is much more to academic education. There's something called personal education.
Yes.
And if you don't know it, you don't know it. And you may not realize yourself till you die. Yeah.
Now, this SWOT analysis, which for those of you that don't know, it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Yeah.
Now, this was one of the exercises that we did in the workshop. Yeah. And as I was going through this, it was a bit difficult for me because I feel that as a result of kind of the track that my life has been on, my education and my degree in biomedical science has made me think that I'm very scientific and logical. So I thought my strengths have to be in line with that. So I couldn't think outside of that box. Like, how do you break that box or that mentality now that I'm understanding?
There are lots of wrong mentalities. And how to change your mentality is to learn and have true knowledge. You did not bring any kind of mentality while coming to the earth. You came in clean slate.
Yes. Yeah.
Poverty is learnt. You learned where do you want to go in life. You learn what do you want to do, what do you want to study, what do you want to do. You learn, and it amount to poverty. So part of the reason why the book is written to change your mentality. You, as majorly, I want to send this book to children of God. Many of you held on to some scriptures like the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
And you may not know the accurate interpretation of that because it's a love of money. You are not meant to love money. You are not meant to love money. But the interpretation goes further. The enemy used that scripture to lock in many people. Means you should hate money. But we need money.
Yeah, we do.
Your children have to go to school. You have to eat good food. Even to maintain your health needs money. To live good life, you need money. All right? So, but more than money is what God has promised us. He's promised us wealth. Are we not blessed?
Yes, we are.
But lack of right mentality will make you poor. So these and others is what you tend to get from this book.
Yes, indeed. And since we've moved into that already, that second point, to change the mentality of people towards true wealth and away from poverty.
Yeah.
You make a point here, which I thought was quite interesting. You said this automatically shifts our focus from being satisfied with poverty. How can you be satisfied with being poor?
A lot of people are satisfied. They are satisfied. And they console themselves with a lot of sentences like, this is my destiny. I cannot kill myself. I've tried my best.
Yeah.
It's a different, adage, sentences. Excuses. Yeah.
Yes.
That people make to console themselves in that satisfaction. And the pathetic thing is they are passing this mentality to their children. Because he's saying you have to go to school and you have to study this. This thing I desire to study and I could not make it, you have to study that. And you're forcing them, you are not allowing them to fulfill God-given purposes for their life. It's not the best.
Yeah.
Another reason for writing this book is to expose the difference between, there are a lot of mix-up between certain words like riches and wealth and currency and money. So this book we explain, because when we talk about money, we want to know what was being used before currency.
Okay, before cash, like
before
paper.
Cash, yes.
Okay.
Before fiat money, before whatever. What are they using? Were they not spending money? So what is money? You call it trade by barter, but things are met.
Right.
Are we going back to that? Because we're using card right now.
Yes.
Very soon there won't be card. There will be chip in our foreheads or hands or whatever. So you will become money. You understand? So we need to understand what money is. And, all right, In school, we were told money is a medium of exchange.
Yeah.
So what do you have to exchange for what you need? That's money. You can have strength.
Gifts, talents.
Some people box. Some people talk and build estates. So what is money? We need to understand. It's very important. The knowledge people are seeking, that education says we give them currency. All right? Limits man. And it's not in the picture right now as a vehicle towards wealthy place. Education is good. We're going to get there when we are talking about it.
Yeah.
We're going to get there. Remember, after the fall of man, man is meant to relate with God by revelation, by what he reveals to you. That's how you're supposed to live. That's how you're supposed to marry. That's how you're supposed to walk, whatever you do. But when man fell, education was established. Maybe not to replace revelation, but education is taking us far away from God. We are forgetting God. Get close to children of pastors, close to Christians, because that year, from year 1 to 25, you wouldn't know the indoctrination that will have taken place.
Yeah, and the thing that always is mind-boggling to me is this is over 2 decades of brainwashing, pretty much. How to undo that?
Yeah.
It's like you mentioned, you said some people aren't willing to pay the price to be wealthy, and now I'm understanding the price that has to be paid is basically undoing decades of mentalities that has been ingrained within your system since you were a child. Because you hear things like you're talking to a child and they're saying, I want to grow up to be a doctor. They're already seeing a job as an identity. There's nothing like what is inside of you, who are you. All of that is just pushed to the side. And at times as well, it's when people get older that they realize, wait, I don't like what I'm doing at work. This is actually what I like to do. And that's who they've been this entire time. And it's just amazing to me that all the time that can be wasted, lost.
Well, if you rediscover yourself, if you are an adult, you are supposed to know what should work for you. And that's what I said. There are a lot of good books out there, but one of the things this book seek to achieve is to change mentality, how you think. For instance, education may not give you SWOT analysis about yourself. So you need academic education. It gives you ability to write, to read, a whole lot of things. What about personal education? Who are you? You don't know what's your blood group. You don't know your weakness, your strength. You don't know your abilities. You don't know your talents and all that. You need spiritual education. You need spiritual education because your mind is a part of your spirit. You need, people don't understand the composition of human being. Like you are a spirit, and some people believe you have a soul, and some people call it mind. And this mind is subconscious mind and conscious mind, and you have a body. And then as we grow in life, stuff are put into our subconscious mind. Schools, at home, and all that, and this thing determines our habits. It determines our feelings. And then even if you have been to school and you're trying to make a choice from your conscious mind, your subconscious mind said you can't go there. You can't try that. Because all your life, because your subconscious mind is large, has no gauge, it doesn't know good or bad. It's just taking whatever you are exposed to. Deliberately or
Yeah.
You see, so it's very important that you understand. Let me say this before I continue the explanation. You can be rich, even unconsciously.
What?
But you cannot be wealthy unconsciously. You can be rich without knowledge, but you cannot be wealthy without knowledge. All right? Because you may be gifted
Yes.
a lot of money.
Yes.
They may will it to you, your granddaddy, your daddy. You may play betting, which I didn't encourage anyone to play, and hit jackpot. You understand? But you cannot be wealthy without knowledge. So you have to deliberately take life into your hands and begin to change your mentality. And you can do that by reading books like this, by being mentored,
Yes.
by attending seminars. And you will see that what will be discussed there will be called financial education, which school does not give.
Yeah. No, just to go back a bit, you mentioned you can be rich unconsciously,
Yeah.
but you cannot, but you become wealthy consciously.
Yes.
Now, rich unconsciously,
Yeah.
I need some clarity there, because if someone hands you a bunch of money, or let's say currency or cash,
Yeah.
then you can, you
You're conscious of
consciously
that. Yeah.
see that you're rich.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by unconsciously?
I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
As this woman that labored so much over his son and sent him to America, and after schooling got a good job and is doing well,
Yeah.
started sending a lot of things home to his mother. And one day the mother called the son very sick, and the son said, "No, I can't leave my job, it's tasking." Sent his friend to come down and see his mother. And then getting to the mother said, "I don't know what I've done to your friend, but he's such a good boy before leaving Nigeria. See me dying. I'm hungry. I can't buy drugs. I can't do this." The friend said, "But he told me he's been sending you money." He said he never sent no money. And the woman opened under the mattress and brought what she called the picture of a white man.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, is the woman rich of dollars?
Yes. Yeah.
But unconsciously.
Okay.
That's unconscious. All right?
Yeah.
He didn't know, ignorantly. You understand?
Yeah.
And how many of us are a bunch of wealth ignorantly?
Yes.
Good.
Okay, this makes sense now.
So, but you can be conscious when you are gifted
Yes.
with money.
Yes.
All right? You win jackpot, as I said, and all that. But you cannot be wealthy without knowledge, without your consciousness, without all your being.
Yes. And that makes sense, because we, like you mentioned, we have that personal education. That's not something you unconsciously get into or understand.
Yeah.
You've taken the steps to know who you are.
Yeah.
Does that involve experimentation?
Well, if you want to experiment, fine, but it's easy to get knowledge. It's easy to be mentored, to understand all these things. All right?
Yeah.
So when we use wealth, we'll be careful to use it. We will not overemphasize the fact that the wealth we're talking about in this book, it comprises of several ingredients.
Yes.
Yes. And that's part of the reason why the book is written.
This has been a dense, loaded, packed session with you, Mr. Faith Praiz. And I'm so grateful that you could take the time out of your busy schedule to spend time with me today to discuss this book. One of the things that stuck with me is that you can be rich unconsciously, but you cannot be wealthy unconsciously. To be wealthy takes taking a step in order to gain personal education, knowing yourself through a SWOT analysis, knowing your gifts, your talents, and so on. There was so much that we talked about, spiritual education, and so on. It's been a lot, and I'm learning. I'm learning. Follow me at Temi Praiz, and follow Journey to Wealth. Subscribe, like, share with your friends and family as we all make our way towards our wealthy place. There's many more episodes to come as we keep discussing this book.